Been seeing different versions of the story here about the 20-year-old that won $1 million and opted for $1,000 a week instead on various different social media over the last few weeks, and been meaning to make a video about it. In fact, I was originally going to make the video on this one on the right-hand side, particularly number 4, $25,000 a month for life, versus number 6, retire 45 with $10 million, because I saw someone post it on LinkedIn, which was a bit of an odd place to post this kind of thing. But what was quite disturbing was how bad people were at doing the financial maths on those two. A lot of those other ones, pretty subjective, but those two, there's some clear-cut maths. Might seem a little bit out of my normal wheelhouse, but I actually taught financial maths for a good number of years. And so today what I wanted to do is look at some of the formulas that we would be using to actually check out these two different things, and then also how we can go about doing it in Excel. So let's kick off by looking at a few financial maths calculations. So all of this is what we would refer to as the time value of money. If I have $1 now, I can go and I can put it into the bank or into investment. It can earn some interest and it's worth more today because I can do something with it than if I received that exact same dollar in the future. The other way we can think about it is the impact of inflation. Either way, we would always be preferring to get a same dollar amount of money sooner rather than later. So we've got a few formulae here and we're going to have a quick look. And so when we're doing this time value of money stuff, we are often going to see FV and PV. So it's the present value and the future value if we're trying to equate things. And then we'll often see either an R or an I. And so this can be meaning a few different versions of the same thing. So some people will refer to it as the rate of return. Some will refer to it as an interest rate. Some will refer to it as the required rate of return. Basically, we're trying to work out what is our money worth. So it's going to be a percentage figure. And for a number of my calculations, I'm going to be sticking to 5%. But we can look at what happens when we vary that figure. So starting here in the top left, if I have some amount of money and I want to work out what's the future value, then we can mark it up by going 1 plus whatever that rate of return or that interest rate is, multiplying that by the current amount of money, and that'll tell me what I end up with in the future. If that's going to be happening over multiple years, then we can add a to the power of n, assuming that that money is getting compounded each year. There's other compounding we could do, but we're going to leave that aside for the video today. If we had multiple years, the money's compounding over those years, then we just add to the power of n to show that we had that starting amount of money, and then we got that first amount of return or interest, and then we got it again the next year, and the next year, and the next year. And then we can rearrange this formula, and we can go, okay, let's suppose we were thinking about some amount of money we were getting in the future, and what would that be worth today? So we're taking that future value, and we've just rearranged that formula, so now we divide by 1 plus that rate of return to the power of number of periods, and we get the present value. So two more formulae that are going to be useful to us here on the right-hand side, and also a couple of finance terms. So an annuity is just a series of payments. And if I want to work out the present value of my series of payments, I just get each payment and I discount it. So that's just dividing by that denominator there. So the same as what we had over here. And then we just add them up. So we discount all of those payments, we add them up, and that gives us the present value of our annuity. Anytime we see payments forever, that's what's known as a perpetuity. So a perpetuity is where we have these payments, but they keep going on forever. And in fact, we can do some maths and we can get the summation formula. When it sums to infinity, it can actually be simplified down to saying payment divided by that required rate of return, or that return that we're wanting for that money. That gives us a really nice, clean, easy way to be able to calculate. So we've got these formulas, and now if we come over, I've done the calculations, and for some of them I've used the formula, for some of them I've used Excel. So as I said before, I'm working just on a basis to start with of 5% rate of return. So if we remember our first one, you had the choice of $1 million or $1,000 every week forever. Well, for life. I'm going to treat it as forever. We could say, okay, well, maybe for life is actually 50 or 70 or 90 or 100 years, depending on how old you are and how old you think you might live for. But we're going to go to the extreme case. At some point, it doesn't actually matter very much, because once it's like 80, 100 years away, $1 in 100 years' time is going to be worth so little that it doesn't matter if we just keep going out to 100 years or 500 years or to infinity, because that last little amount doesn't actually make much of a difference. So I'm going to treat this as a perpetuity. We've got our payment and we divide by our return. And so 5%, that would be an annual interest rate. And so what I can do is I can either say, okay, 1,000 per week, let's actually scale that up to 52,000 per year. Or alternatively, I can take that 5% and I can divide by 52, and that can be the weekly equivalent required rate of return. Again, if you have done a little bit of finance, you'll know that there's different ways we can do our compounding, and I'm leaving that aside for the time being. So anyway, we take that 1,000 and we divide by my weekly equivalent rate of return, and we get 1,040,000. So we could say if we think 5% is a reasonable rate of return, then in fact $1,000 a week forever works out to be about $1 million. If money is worth more, if our required rate of return is higher, so let's suppose we took it up to 6%, we can see the equivalent now is only worth $866,000. If we thought that 6% was a reasonable rate of return, then in fact actually $1,000 a week forever, not so great. If we come back to our 5% and we decided that was reasonable, there's probably some other things we would think about though. If you were the type of person who was really bad with money, and you knew that if you got given $1 million all at once, you would waste it, then maybe there is some advantage to getting $1,000 a week instead. On the flip side, there's a whole lot of things that you could do with that $1 million, like buying a house, that at $1,000 per week, you'd have to organize a mortgage and do things like that. I would say for most people, if these two were equivalent, there's still that advantage of having the money right now to be able to do whatever you wanted to do with it. The other consideration would be whether the funding body, if something happened to them, so they might have guaranteed that $1,000 per week, but what if they change the rules? Or what if the tax rules change? Or what if it's a private organization, what if they go out of business and so they can't pay you anymore? So there's a security element as well. So that's that first one where we could see at 5%, $1 million, $1,000 per week forever. If we're Brian Johnson, we're going forever, then 5% return, they're about equivalent. Anything more than that, then we would much rather have that $1 million up front. Let's come back and look at the second one. So similar kind of a deal, $25,000 per month for life. So this time it's per month, or retire at 45 with 10 million. And so the first thing here is it depends how old you are. And if you are already 45 or over, then presumably you get the 10 million straight away. Whereas maybe if you're in your 20s and you have to wait for 20 years before you get that 10 million, then that might not be quite as good as getting cash from right now. 25 per month forever. And in fact, I did forever and 30 years and 20 years, just to show you 20 years actually was more than half of the value of that 25,000 per month forever. And once we go 30 years, now it's more than 3/4, and all up, we can see using that same formula as we did before, although this time it's a 12 because we're adjusting to monthly, then all up, it's worth $6 million. So $6 million now is going to be the equivalent. And again, this is me up here. I've got the discount rate. We can adjust the discount rate, but let's just say 5% again for simplicity. And $6 million right now at a discount rate of 5% would be the equivalent of $25,000 per month forever. If we were already 45 or over and we had the choice of 10 million right now or something that is only going to give us 6 million right now, obviously we'd want to take 10 million right now. Easy. But as we have to wait longer and longer until we hit 45, we can see that what that 10 million is worth now gets smaller and smaller. If you were 35, if you're going to wait 10 years, then waiting 10 years, it's only actually 6 million in terms of that present value. So now we're getting much closer to our 25,000 per month. Once we get down to 30, then getting 10 million as a one payment in 15 years' time is going to be worse than getting the 25,000 per month, which we've established is worth 6 million right now. Again, we can play with this discount rate. So let's suppose we took it up to 8%. And when we do that, we can see that that actually has a pretty marked change. But it changes both of these because with both, we're having to discount that money back. So if we were discounting at 8%, then our 25,000 per month is going to be worth 3.75 million. And the 10 million, that was just fixed. But as we discount that 10 million for however long we need to wait, now if you're 35, it's still a better deal. If you're 30, it's not. So somewhere between 30 and 35. And we could work out that exact age if we really wanted. These calculations for the 25,000 per month, we're just using our perpetuity formula. All of these ones up here, though, where we're getting the present value, instead what we've done is we've used the Excel function, and the Excel function we've used is PV. So we'll have a bit of a zoom in and we'll look what each of these items that go into the PV function are. But basically what it will do is it will take a value or a series of payments, so an annuity, and it will give us the present value. And then there's another one called FV, which will give us the future value. If we have a click on it, we can see that there's a number of different things that we give it. So the first one is the rate, and so that is my discount rate. We can see that I've given it 5% there. The next one down, NPR, number of periods. This is where we're just going, how many years are we having to discount back? So if you're 44, it's going to be 1 year. If you're 43, it's going to be 2 years. So it's just working out how long you're going to have to wait for that 10 million. So how many years do we need to discount it back? In this case, because it was just that lump sum, there weren't any payments. The PMT, our payments were 0. But if this was an annuity, so maybe it was we get some amount per year and then 10 million at some future point, then we could put our payments in there as well. FV is our future value, so that was that 10 million that we're getting in the future. And then this last one, type, and we've got 0 and 1. In finance talk, this is where we have either an annuity or an annuity due. And that tells Excel whether the payment is happening at the beginning of a period or the end of a period. So if you think about mortgage or rent or salaries or things like that, any of those calculations, if that amount of money is for the period the next 2 weeks versus the last 2 weeks, that tells Excel whether we need to adjust for that number of weeks or months or years forwards or backwards. And so once I've put all of those into my Excel function, then I get my 9.5 million. And because I've set this up with all of the figures already on here, then I've just been able to drag it across to get the rest of my figures. So coming back to our original images, $1 million versus $1,000 for life, probably not too far off even. Personally, I would take the $1 million up front, but I could see an argument for those other reasons I mentioned, someone taking that $1,000 weekly. So I hope this has been interesting, doing a little bit of financial maths and a little bit of seeing how Excel does those calculations. If it's something that you'd like to see more of, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll be back really soon with more videos on stats, research, AI, and like today, some random stuff.